Hi, Diana. How are you?
Good and you. So great to see you, babe.
It's good to see you too.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Where are you right now?
I'm LA
Oh
based.
my God, that's exciting.
Yeah. Are you on the East Coast or DC, I think?
Yes, I'm in
Oh,
DC.
nice.
Yeah.
Well, happy New Year and go Gators.
Go Gators. So we can give people a few more minutes to join and then we can get started. That's a really cool water bottle.
Thanks. What do we think? Did we play some music?
Sure.
Create a little waiting room vibe?
I like that.
I'm actually obsessed with Shakira's new song.
It's so catchy.
Um, Yeah, like I just love everything about it. Um, let's play that. Hola, Clara. Hi, Liz.
Oh my God, Clara's here. Hi, Clara.
Can you hear it a little bit, the background?
Yeah, I think it's the perfect level.
You tell me when we're ready, because I know we're recording this too.
Okay. I think we can give it like 2 more minutes
Cool.
and then we'll get. Yeah, everybody seems to be utilizing the comment feature, but if you have any comments or questions, feel free to drop a comment.
I'm gonna do the Gators and Needles Professional Development Scholarship application link. Do you come out to LA often?
Um, I've actually never been to LA. Oh, did we lose her?
No, I'm here. I was trying to copy over the scholarship development link. Okay, cool.
Okay, perfect. All right, go ahead and get started.
Yay! And I got to jam a little bit. It's perfect.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome. I'm really excited to introduce and talk to our next speaker. But before I dive in, I just want to quickly introduce myself. So my name is Mel Andrade, and I'm a new member of AHA's Alumni Engagement Committee. So I graduated from the University of Florida in 2019 with a degree in English, and I currently serve as the Federal Relations Associate for the University of Florida's Federal Relations Office here in Washington, D.C. So super excited to introduce Dayana Falcon. So Dayana is a Cuban from Miami. She was the first in her family to go to college, and she graduated from UF in 2011. And she is currently a career coach and the founder of Gators Unidos. So I'll let her explain more, but for those who don't know, it's this really awesome nonprofit whose goal is to connect Latino Gators from across different generations. So Dayana, thank you so much for being with us tonight. Before we dive into some questions, you want to just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. I am a wife, daughter, sister, tia, dog mom, career coach. Life purpose is equal access to opportunity. So anything I put my energy into is about that. And it's kind of like career meets comunidad. The intersection of that is just such an interesting space. And I think it's beyond time. We know that Latinos are spending over $2 trillion of the economy in the US. So we got to create these opportunities and these paths and empower Latino Gators. They are the future of this country and on our planet. And I wholeheartedly believe anytime I meet one of you as a Latino Gator, I'm just so inspired. You guys are going to really help take the evolution of humankind to the next level. And I don't say that lightly, and I mean it. So whether I'm doing that as a career coach or I'm doing that as the founder of Gators Unidos, I'm just truly invested in this next generation of Latino Gators. And like we like to say at Gators Unidos, we're here to pay it pa'lante.
Well, that was a beautiful intro. Thank you for that. And definitely feel very inspired by the work you're doing and everything you just said. We are the future. You know, Latinos are the future of this country and in the world. So it's really great to have people like you empowering future generations of Latinos. So I do have a few questions for you, but, you know, this could be more of a conversation. So, you know, I'm sure we'll flow pretty well throughout.
Cash. Keep it cash.
Yeah. But the first question, you know, I think would be a good one to start us off. You know, how do you feel that UF prepared you for life after college?
It helped me think bigger. Like you said, I grew up in Miami. All I knew was Cuban community. So I got to Bath, love the melting pot. And I think it just, they had, you know, these micro messages of Gators are here to lead. Gators are here to impact. Gators are here to change the world. And I mean, look, we just launched the first AI university in the nation. Like, we became top 5. Like they're launching such incredible resources for students during everything that's happening. Like, I just feel like, and now being alumni, I want to show off my ring. I got this on Etsy. If anybody wants to link, DM me. I'm just such a proud Gator. I rock it everywhere I go. So there's a pride of there's a comunidad of being a Gator. And then when you're a Latino Gator, it's like everything stops. You're like, tell me everything, like, you know. So I think thinking big and the community aspect are the two things that is a part of my DNA, because I went to University of Florida.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like UF.
For you, would you agree? Like for you too?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like being in DC, like you said, like, you know, like UF has always had a seat at the table. We've always been like a pretty well-known university, but I would say recently in the past 5 to 10 years, you know, you tell people, oh, I went to UF, and people are like impressed. They're like, wow, that's an amazing school. And just being here in DC, like you said, like mentioned our AI initiative, and all the cool things the school is doing, like it's going noticed across the country, not just in the state of Florida. So being here in DC, like I definitely noticed that UF is a big part of the conversation oftentimes. So I definitely agree. And the Gator Nation community is unlike any other. It's very special. Definitely agree. But I'd love to hear more about Gators Unidos, you know, like what inspired you to start that? If you could tell us a little bit more about it. I think it's great.
Yeah. I love that Liana is like DC kind of. So Gators Unidos focuses on creating educational, mentorship, and sponsorship opportunities from one generation of Latino Gators, aka us, millennials, to the next generation, which is all of you, Gen Z. And I was inspired by being able to realize that money isn't enough. Our community is over-mentored, under-sponsored. I want to be a part of impacting that. And then I called all my best friends that are Latino Gators, including my husband. And I was like, hi, I'm launching a nonprofit and I would like you to be on the board of directors. And we've really built something. And we're just so excited. So the first initiative we launched was a professional development scholarship fund, which is now live and open. So all of you Latino Gators, apply today. You get $2,500 because yes, money is still important. All I'm saying is that it's more than that. The second thing that Latino Gators will get is one-on-one sponsorship with a Latino Gator alumni. We have our 2 students from last year, shout out to Clara and Lorenzo, who got matched with Latino Gators, and we've created a curriculum. They meet up once a month, they talk about these different topics, everything from self-care to personal brand to getting ready to salary negotiation in their industry. So we've matched them with somebody that's already doing what they want to do. Talk about unlocking new opportunities quickly. Then we have a private alumni network on LinkedIn of all of our Latino Gator donors and the top 10 that score in our grading rubric of the scholarship. So even if you don't get the money, you still get to touch the mentorship aspect, which is fantastic.
Wow.
And then this year, because financial and generational wealth is important to our community, we're partnering with Summa Wealth. If you have not heard of them, highly recommend. They've gamified dinero for the Latino community. They have an Abuela AI chatbot. They have this epic app that helps you just be really smart with where you invest and how you grow your money and how you create budgets, so that we're not in this paycheck to paycheck Latino hustle that our families have been a part of for so long, but that we go pa'lante. So it's a whole vibe. It's multiple little pieces, and we think the power of all of that connected really creates this professional development scholarship to be really unique, and support this next generation of Latino Gators.
Yeah, that's amazing. That is so special. Thank you for doing that. That's cool.
Imagine we had this.
I know, I was thinking the same thing. It's really great to be paving the way for the next generation. So that's really remarkable. Where do you see Gators Unidos in like 5-10 years? Like what's like the long-term goal?
Yeah, great question. We're working on something that's a little under the wraps right now, but we'll be announcing it in 3 months. So come back May to Gators Unidos to see this next big project, which will really launch us into the future of what we want this organization to be. I see this being community of getting Latino Gators back to campus, not just on Hispanic Alumni Weekend, Latinx Hispanic Alumni Weekend, Latino Weekend, but they want to pay it forward constantly. It's not a one-year pulse. It's not, oh, congrats, Gator grads. It's a community. So, and I think also by bringing so many people together, it's thinking about, hey, the future is AI. How are we making sure that Latino Gators get exposure to AI in a very thoughtful, concentrated manner? Like, how do we make sure Latino Gators have a seat at the table while they're in college? And how does our generation help inform the gaps and things for them to think about so that when they come out of the workforce, they're getting 80 job offers from everywhere they touch because we've over prepared them. I want that to be beyond the degree. I want that to be the network. I want that to be the opportunities. I want them to dream limitless and know that they have an army of Latino Gator alumni supporting them.
Yeah, that's amazing. I like your point, you know, like it's important to show up for the big moments like graduation and alumni weekend and stuff like that, but it's also like the little moments as well are important to show up for it as well. So that's really important. You kind of already touched on this, but if you could expand, you know, like why is it so important to have opportunities like this for underrepresented students?
I think when we take a step back to 10 years ago when we were in school, yes, the money helped, but like we didn't have access. We didn't have access. We didn't know the alumni. We didn't like, and let me tell you, when a Gator emails me, I stop what I'm doing. And right? Like, don't you too?
Yeah.
Like, it's such a powerful network and community, and no Gator has ever told me, nope, sorry, talk to you late, never, talk to you never. I've always gotten the meeting. So it's lean into the power of the network of the Gator Nation beyond football, right? I think it's also like helping Gators realize that a degree isn't the end all be all, but it's like, how is that a tool in your toolkit to lean into where you want to create impact? I always like to say that this planet has a lot more problems than jobs available. And I think if you follow purpose, I mean, opportunities will come in stride because you're focusing your energy collectively on solving X.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, if I ever get an email from a current student like, oh, can you help me with this? Or I have some questions about this, I'm like, oh my God, absolutely. This is what I was made for. Yes. And like students always be like, sorry to bother you, but it's like, no, you're not.
Not just students. Mel, if you email me, if
Yeah.
Jose emails me, if, you know, like, it's not just a student, it's the power of Latino engagement across. So I'm also looking to double down on connecting more Latino Gators to our mission. And with this next big project that we're launching soon, we hope that that accelerates things.
Great. So just to repeat, how and when do students apply for the scholarship?
Now, it's due Feb 18th, so you got some time. We intentionally wanted to make it very social driven and support you in growing your network by making sure you're on LinkedIn. Like we're asking for you to have a referral or testimonial from a friend, not from a friend, from a professional or a professor or somebody that you volunteered with or a previous boss that recommends you as part of your submission, as well as a video sharing what your dream is and how you believe that dream can support the Latino community long term. So those are just two highlights of the piece of the application. And we're also really intentional. We're targeting first generation Hispanic, Latino, Latinx students. And we're actually also targeting sophomore credits and above. So we kind of want them to kind of know, all right, I know that I want to be in STEM, and maybe they're trying to figure out just a little bit more farther along. As well as shout out to all the graduate students, Latino Gators at University of Florida. This is also open to graduate students to support them with the research they're doing too.
Great. I love that it's open to graduate students. What is the statistic? I think there's like less than 2% or less than 5% of Latinos have a master's degree, which is crazy. So we gotta get that number up.
But I don't know if you know this. Do you know that right now, 20% of the student population at the University of Florida are Latino Gators?
I heard that last week, and I was so proud to hear that.
Yeah. So, I mean, 1 out of every 5 students on campus identify as Hispanic or Latino or Latinx, and it's just incredible. I wish that was the status when I was there. I think it was like 4%.
Yeah.
But, we're making strides.
Yeah, it's definitely very inspiring, and I'm just so excited to keep on seeing that number go up. So that's great. But I did want to shift gears a little bit and kind of talk about career advice. So we have some young alums, some current students. What advice do you have for students who are getting ready for graduation, or maybe students who already graduated or maybe are in the workforce for a year or two trying to still figure out their career path? What advice do you have for those young alumni?
So I have 5 pieces of advice I thought of. I'm going to spit them off really fast, and then you tell me which one you think I can double down on.
Okay.
Game? All right.
Sounds good.
Your network is everything. Become active on LinkedIn and become a thought leader of things that you want to be known for consistently.
Okay.
Speak up with your ideas. You're being hired, you're being invited to that meeting, you're being invited to that club to create a ripple effect of impact. So use it wisely. As you think about your skills, this next gen, you need AI skills, you need marketing skills, you need inclusion skills. Be really mindful of beyond your major, like where you see the growth happening in our society. And the 5th is self-care. I think the reason I'm so grounded is because I do not joke around with my self-care and my mental health. I'm laser focused on it. I'm not perfect every day, but I strive to be. So yeah, those are my 5. You tell me which one or a couple that you'd like me to double down on.
I love all 5, and I feel like too few people mention self-care in their advice, so that's so important. But I would love for you to expand a little bit more on like building your network. I feel like, students hear that all the time, and it can be so intimidating, like, reaching out to someone they never met before or going to a networking event where they don't know anybody. So do you have any advice on how someone can really leverage the Gator alumni connection and use tools like LinkedIn to connect with the right people?
Yeah, and I'm actually pulling up. I have a like a networking little toolkit, but I pretty much know it like by the top of my mind. Maybe I'll find it while I'm talking through. So the same way you create a strategy for your business, for those of you that are in corporate America, nonprofit, or have your own side hustle, like the way that you think about my objective, my vision, and then the strategy, and then the tactics on how to get there. I really empower people to create a networking strategy so that you're not just like, today I'm going to talk to blah, 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 but that there's intentionality in it.
Right.
So, as we think about what does intentionality mean, my question to you is, where are you seeking connection? What subject matter experts? What areas of focus, etc.? And then look at people that have that. Look at people that have that lens in your current network. So I like to give it like this 5-step plan. Step 1, depending on what your goal is, make a list of the people. What is your career goal? It might be getting exposure. It might be learning more about AI. It might be like, you got to have a goal.
Right.
So maybe let's do this exercise with you, Mel. Give me a career goal that you have right now.
I think I would like to one day work on Capitol Hill.
Nice. Let's go change the world. Awesome. So as you think about your goal, it's exposure and visibility to what's happening in Capitol Hill so that you kind of know what pathways there are to get there. Am I hearing that correctly?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So step 2, explore the different types of organizations, email listservs, associations, groups. What comes to mind when you think Capitol Hill? What exists today? What networks exist today? What groups exist today?
Yeah. Oh, you want me to actually
Yeah.
answer that? Okay. So first thoughts, I think of my job. I think of the Florida delegation. I'm from Florida. I went to school in Florida, so I have ties to my hometown different members. I think of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus Institute. I think of AHA. There are plenty of people involved with AHA who either worked on the Hill or used to work on the Hill. So those are the first that come to mind.
Fantastic. So the way I like to help people think about it is put those in Venn diagrams and different maps, and you start thinking about it, right? Now, step 3, you explore several ways that you want to set yourself up for success in those networking situations. Is it a tight elevator pitch? Is it having go-to conversation starters beyond, what's the weather like in California? If one more person asks me about go check weather.com, please. Have a great day. It's like, ask me what's giving me energy. Ask me like how my husband's doing. Ask me like, hey, that fur baby in the back is so cute. What's his or her name? Just make it a little bit more substance. Like, let's move on from weather, people. That's just a little tangent, but have those go-to conversation starters. Some people might feel a little intimidating, right? Like reaching out. So when you kind of have those go-to, like my favorite question is, Mel, what sets your heart on fire?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, that's a pretty good conversation starter.
You gotta answer it.
Mm. Honestly, kind of what this whole conversation has been about and what you're doing, encouraging the next generation of Latinos, whether it's Gators or students from other schools or just Latinos across the country, that really does set my heart on fire.
It makes sense though why you want to go to Capitol Hill. You want to change policies and processes that are impacting our communities. I have no doubt that that's why your heart wants to go there. So I love that. That's beautiful. And thank you for what you're doing too, babe.
Thank you.
And then the part of that is like being prepared to network, right? That's the step 3, like the conversation starters. You're a tight elevator pitch, not like, hi, pero like, and then, and no, just like, my name is Mel. I've been rocking it in X, but I want exposure to Capitol Hill. Can you help me? And then they're like, of course. Like, let me know. What's your advice been on Capitol Hill? Like, you kind of come up with those conversation starters so that you're ready, right? And then step 4, how much time are you going to allocate? Is it 2 new meetings a week? That's my situ, by the way. Like, I color code my calendar and I have to see orange twice because it's my favorite color. I have to see orange twice on my calendar that I have 2 new networking meetups with somebody in somewhere in my network. Because if you just, I think people get overwhelmed with the goal. So if you break it down, like networking or visibility to Capitol Hill, here are the organizations and associations I can network with. Here are my conversation starters and how I'm going to show up to those conversations. And I'm going to allocate an hour a week, Friday mornings when I'm thinking best to go attack that. And then step 5, set that goal. Is it 2 new connections a week? But then look at the power. 2 times 4 in a month is 8 new connections. 8 times 12, because I suck at math, don't judge, is 96 new connections a year.
Wow.
So maybe you go a little extra and say, I'm going to hit 100 new connections this year. But then you think about the macro and the micro. So that's kind of my little networking algorithm that I recommend to everyone.
That is so nice. I feel like, everyone always talks about how important it is to network. No one really gives advice on how to be very intentional about it. So I really appreciate you walking us through that. And I wish I had that my senior year at UF. So
you have it now for your Capitol Hill dreams.
Exactly.
People, Capitol Hill, alert, call Mel.
So I guess like to piggyback off that, are there any so you kind of explained to us the do's of networking. Are there any things that you recommend students don't do when they're trying to network? Like, what are some hard no's?
And you guys have heard this. Don't email saying, hi, I'd like a job. Have a great day. Thanks. Like, do a little prep work. Hi, I saw that you guys are hiring for this position in this location that is focused on X. Here's my relevant experience, or here, I don't have experience, but formal, but I've done this in a project and here's how. Like, come with that elevator pitch ready so that all of us have to do is hit forward. So over prepare for that outreach. Don't BCC your whole list address book and say, I need a job. Peace. Like, so just highly recommend that you kind of come with that A game. That makes it really turnkey.
Yeah, for sure. Another small thing, I always think it's so funny when students email me, they'll be like, Miss Andrade, and then I'll respond like, oh, love Mel, and they'll still call me Miss Andrade, and I'm like, oh, there goes my youth, like, please call me Mel. So definitely, if someone tells you how to refer to them, definitely.
It's because in school they call their teachers Mr. Like, that's what they know. It makes sense.
It's definitely a sign of respect, but it definitely ages me, so it's always funny. But we are approaching our time. This has been really great. Is there any last things you want to say to those on our call?
Yeah. The world's really heavy right now. So it's okay not to be okay. It's okay to have good days. It's okay to have bad days. That's the human experience, right? It's all the emotions, but protect your energy and protect your headspace and where you're letting yourself go. Like maybe don't watch news right before you go to bed, like so that you don't have nightmares. Like, you know, like create these like morning and evening routines that get you in this headspace to focus on where you want to create impact. And then it is a really beautiful journey. Because then if not, you're just kind of checking all these random society boxes of what success means, and you're never going to be happy. So chase your happiness, put yourself first, and protect your headspace.
That was beautiful. That was great. Well, Diana, thank you so much for joining us. This was really a lovely conversation. Everyone, make sure you follow Gator Unidos on Instagram and check out their website, and apply for the scholarship if you're able to. Deadline is February 18th, you said?
Yes. And if you have any questions, feel free to DM us on Gators Unidos. Our board of directors have loved meeting you all. And on our website is a list of our board of directors. So feel free to reach out to them too. Network, connect. You never know how one connection can lead you to a new opportunity. Mel, it's been an absolute pleasure, babe. Go Gators.
Go Gators. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining, and have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.